Last week, Bernie Sanders sent out, an email for the DNC or from like their, listserv asking for, donations to the Democratic Unity Fund. We got to do everything we can to defeat Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in U.S. history, and how we got to, make sure he gets defeated. And I'm going to help, down ballot races as well. Thankfully, I'm not on any type of email list from the DNC, but I saw this story, floating around online and different people commenting on it. And I mean, does Bernie have just does he have any type of backbone, like, whatsoever? Does he not realize that in 2016 the DNC did everything they could to make sure that he wasn't the nominee, and they were doing a lot of those same shenanigans in 2020? And do you realize they don't support any of the core policy positions that you support, Bernie? Like, they're not advocating for Medicare for all, Green New Deal, free tuition-free college, canceling, student loan debt, any of these things. A tax on Wall Street, a wealth tax, because they are the same people who would be hurt by those policies because they are the wealthy and elite and powerful and well-connected of the Democratic Party. And Bernie saying he wants to help get down ballot progressives elected on these different levels, but the DNC isn't going to help with that. They're going to prop up the centrist, neoliberal, corporatist candidates who will talk using these woke language and these woke signaling, and talk about a lot of platitudes. Just see the recent, Joe Biden ads without saying anything of substance on policy. So I think you're going to have a really hard time, Bernie, getting the people that supported you, the working class of the United States, teachers, people working at the post office, people working at Walmart, Amazon, baristas, part-time gig workers, all these different working class folks who, scrape together, a couple bucks here and there to donate to you because they actually saw you as fighting and advocating for policies that would actually, improve their lives in a real material and tangible way. Why in the fuck would we? Because I donated to his campaign as well. Why would we, use our hard-earned money during a fucking economic crisis that will soon be rivaling unemployment levels experienced by the Great Depression? Why would we give our money to the DNC, the Democratic Unity Fund, when they're not going to fight for any of those things, and they're just going to prop up the same neoliberal corporate centrist candidates that created the conditions that led to Trump getting elected? Why the fuck would we do that? We're not going to do that. We're not sheep. And then, Bernie's also said, it's irresponsible if my supporters don't, try to help Joe Biden get elected. No, it's not how politics works. Voter shaming doesn't work. It's how it happened in 2016. We got Trump elected by, going at the lesser of two evil strategies. Trump ended up winning. Voter shaming doesn't work. What actually works is maybe if you had not completely capitulated, dropped out, and endorsed Joe Biden without any concessions. Maybe if you had got him to, support some executive orders like Kyle Kalinske is talking about, or maybe at least you got him to commit to Medicare for all. We're in a pandemic, for fuck's sake, Bernie. And, a Green New Deal or tuition-free college. Get him to commit to two or three of those. You're going to have a lot easier time getting people on the left, getting some of your supporters to support him instead of trying to voter shame, and call people who don't support Joe Biden irresponsible. Get the fuck out of here with that. And then he's on the, DNC email list blasting people. Yeah, you got to go donate to the Democratic Unity Fund. Trump's bad. We got to get rid of him. And again, I think the whole narrative about, Trump being the most dangerous president in U.S. history, I mean, did he start the Iraq War like George W. Bush did, that led to at least 500 plus thousand Iraqi civilians dying? Didn't do that. Didn't start the Patriot Act. And obviously, yes, Trump is horrible. He's racist. He's xenophobic. He does the bidding of the 1% and the military-industrial complex. He's sexist. He's a misogynist. All that stuff. That's bad. Yes, that's bad. But we got to look at the situation, the context, the history of the United States of why this cartoonish, completely wacko game show host was able to become president is because the people who voted for him, some of those people were actually voted for Obama and went to Trump because, like, well, Obama didn't really help improve my life at all. He, did a really good job, speaking, progressive speak, if you will, but then he did the bidding of the Wall Street and the military industrial complex and didn't really improve the lives, for the working people of the United States, and they saw Trump as the change candidate. You got to look at the conditions that gave rise to Trump, as Andrew Yang pointed out. He's just a symptom of a larger problem of, our economy and our whole political system just set up to benefit those at the top while everybody else gets crumbs at best. And obviously, Trump isn't some, populist by any stretch, but he was able to use and campaign on that rhetoric to get elected to the White House. And they just saw Hillary Clinton as representing the establishment and the status quo, and people were ready for a change. So, I mean, it's a bit of a tangent there, but I mean, the point is basically that Trump is just a symptom of a larger problem, and I think Bernie is going to have a really hard time getting his supporters, his loyalists, to support and donate to the DNC and the Democratic Unity Fund when they're not. Why the fuck would people give their money to that? They would just be throwing it away. And again, we're experiencing an economic crisis that will be shortly rivaling the Great Depression in terms of, levels of unemployment. And Bernie got nothing from Biden. He got nothing. And where has Joe Biden been? I haven't seen him with, doing interviews or live streams or anything like that. So again, Bernie completely sold out the movement, the not me us movement, and it became me as about, like, in reference to Joe Biden without getting any type of policy concessions. And unfortunately, Bernie was not up to the task of actually running a campaign to win. He was more worried about keeping Joe Biden in his good graces, and he always peppered in every interview or criticism he was giving about Joe Biden. Well, he's, Joe Biden's a good friend. He's a good friend of mine. It's like, Bernie, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Jesus Christ. People are really suffering. People don't have health care. People are losing their jobs by the millions. People are shackled with student loan debt. We have extreme wealth and income inequality. We have a global empire. We live in a surveillance state. And you weren't campaigning to win from the start. So honestly, I mean, I kind of feel like my money was wasted, donated, or giving it to Bernie, honestly. And it's kind of sad to come to that realization, but he wasn't fit for purpose. He wasn't willing to run a campaign that actually wanted to win because he was too worried about staying in the good graces of the Democratic establishment and keeping his, various committee assignments in the Senate, not wanting to piss off Chuck Schumer, not wanting to piss off Joe Biden, not wanting to piss off the DNC, and him sending out this email blast asking people to donate to the Democratic Unity Fund is just another example of that. And we actually, need progressive leaders on the left who are willing to actually speak truth to power and who are willing to stand up and fight in these difficult situations, even if it will, piss off some of their wealthy, powerful friends, in this case, Joe Biden and the DNC. And Bernie wasn't willing to do that. And frankly, that's a huge failing on his part from my perspective. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours in the comment sections down below. Please hit that like button if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Peace. Much love.